everyone. Thanks for joining us on Africa Independent Television, AIT. Welcome to Democracy Today. I am Osamor-Peters. It's 101 days, which is about 16 weeks or 4 months, to February 16, a day scheduled for the 2019 presidential election. And the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has implemented 3 out of 14 activities contained in the 2019 general election timetable. The INEC chairman told newsmen in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, that the remaining item on the electoral calendar will be implemented without hitches.
Based on the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, as well as the Commission's guidelines and regulations, 3 of the 14 activities have been implemented. The Commission wishes to reassure Nigerians that preparations for the 2019 general elections are proceeding in earnest and according to the detailed timetable and schedule of activities already released by the Commission. It is exactly 112 days to the elections. We shall continue to faithfully and consistently implement the timetable and all activities.
That's Professor Mahmoud Yakubu there talking. He's a professor of political science. He confirmed that 79 candidates are jostling for the presidency and that about 1,800 candidates are contesting for the Senate. He went further to tell us that about 4,148 candidates are running for the the Federal House of Representatives in the 2019 general elections. Now, on controversy over the certificate of sole candidates, the INEC chairman has this to say.
One of the candidates is with the military. Are you asking for confirmation whether the certificate is with the military? Because another person asked whether there are candidates in similar situations whose certificates are with the military. Well, we have tested yesterday the Form CL001 in all the constituencies. For all candidates nominated by the political parties, please do the needful as a citizen, check, and we will come back to this conversation later.
Now the question is, for political parties participating in the presidential contest, how convenient will 79 names be on the ballot papers? What are the implications of the large number of contestants? Does the electorate know these candidates, 79 of them? Will the electorate be able to identify as well as assess these 79 candidates in making their informed choices, particularly the illiterates and rural dwellers, or popularly called the people in the grassroots? Who will vote for a candidate you know little or nothing about? Well, let's get the opinion of the political parties tonight, as I am being joined in the studio by a representative of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. He is the Director General of the General John Bo campaign organization, is Samsi Olalere. Am I right about that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Thank you for joining us on Democracy Today.
Thank you very much. Viewers at home, good evening.
And I have with me here, he's an aspirant anyway, but he has not given me money to promote him. But I will just call him as an aspirant, and also a chieftain of the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party. Is Olariwaju Osho. You're welcome to Democracy Today.
IJ, it's my honor to be here. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you very much. And I have an election monitor. Is an expert in monitoring election. Is also somebody who has gone for so many elections. He has seen the ups and downs in this Fourth Republic of Nigerian democracy, especially when it comes to voting. Is the Director General, Center for Leadership, and also the Head of Election Monitors. I have with me Dr. Gabriel Wombu. You're welcome to Democracy Today.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, viewers.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Would have loved to serve you some report from across the state, but let's see what happened in Zamfara State 2 days ago. It was a protest. The two political parties are still battling with their internal party problem, and just on Thursday in Zamfara, yesterday in Edo and some other places, the APC protest is coming as they come by the day. Let's see what happened in Zamfara, APC 2 days ago. That was the scene on Thursday in Zamfara State APC, and protesters took over the state headquarters, calling for the resignation of the national chairman of the party. That reminds me of what used to be at the PDP Secretariat 2 years ago, when they had issues with two factions, Makarafi and Alimodu Sharif. Unfortunately, Sharif is now with the All Progressives Congress. He's no more with the PDP. We're hoping that some of these internal party squabbles will come to an end, but some are of the belief that internal party squabbles help to deepen democracy. It helps to deepen the relationship in political parties. And also to let you know that Osamor says he will address Nigerians on the present situation in the party soon, and we're waiting for that address. And when the address comes, we will definitely bring to you. And some governors are also supporting him, saying they are not part of this protest, that their chairman has done nothing wrong. Now, to discussion for tonight, we are looking at 79 political parties on the ballots. The experience in Oshu is just about almost 50% of what we're going to have in the ballot. But people have been asking, how would voting be? And remember, if you vote, there may just be so many voted votes. By the time you cover your voting paper or your ballot paper to go and put it there, the ink will definitely stain. Those are one of the issues we'll be looking at. Let me first of all go to Mr. Samson Olalere, who is the DG Abga campaign. Mr. Samson, yes. Your party has a presidential candidate.
We do.
One out of the 79 persons that will be contested on the 16th of February. Right. Is your party comfortable with that large number?
Well, I think we see it as beauty of democracy. You see, allowing everybody a field to play his game. You see, we've been having crisis in politics because you restrict and people will complain. With what we have now, about 91 political parties, if you are dissatisfied with a political party, rather than staying in and destabilizing that party and destabilizing the country, you have an opportunity. The field is open, you know. And what many Nigerians used to say is the fact that we look at the United States, for instance, people believe that we have only two political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. It's not so.
But they have almost 100 of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
If they have about 100, so 91 is not too much. But the problem we have in Nigeria is the management of these political parties and the management of the electoral system. If we can get it right there, I don't think the number is too large. For instance, now, we are just discussing what stops us from electronic voting. This problem is just brought up of largeness, and then mutilation will not come up if we have that. So if Nigerians will allow that to come into our electoral system, we'll now be talking about the largeness of or the number of the political parties.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll have problem with that if we get the management right.
Okay. Mr. Osho, we know that in Nigeria we've never had this 79. We've never even had 20 or 40 contesting for presidency. It's been below 20 and that's that number. But now we are going to see 79. And some of these candidates, people don't know them. So how do, just like the question I asked at the beginning of this program, how do they vote for people they don't know or they know little or nothing about?
Yeah, that's a challenge on the contestants to actually take their messages out there to the people. These 79 candidates have come out because the marketplace of ideas has been enlarged or expanded by the stifling of democracy by the big parties. You know, if the big parties have actually promoted democracy, we wouldn't have had multiplication of, or duplication of parties all across the nation, because they made it difficult actually for people who feel they have a say or who feel they have one idea or two on how to move our country forward. They made it difficult for them to be able to play, their role. So, and the formation of parties is not actually cumbersome, provided you can be able to mobilize people to a certain number of, according to the law. Then you go to INEC and get yourself registered. And like my party, for example, we're able to mobilize 27,000 people, which was more than what any party had ever been done. And we got registered about 2 years ago. So I feel that the onus now lies with the candidates who are going to be on the ballot to push their messages out there. What are the ideologies that the party represents? Why do they want the people to vote for them if they can't, take their messages out? I believe these 79 people are coming out because they feel that they have a good stake. Because actually, presidential election is very, 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 very expensive. Whoever is going to be president has over 119,000 polling units to cover. And then you are going to put someone in charge of all these polling units. You are going to have agents in all these polling units, and then you must be able to put your messages across to the people in these various units. And then if you feel you can do it, why not?
About 18 million Nigerians, electorate, registered Nigerians will be participating in that election. And those 18 million, do you think they know up to 5% of the 79 persons, if they really have idea of who their candidates are? 5% of them. The environments of putting messages across have changed because of social media. So these guys, I believe, are coming out because they feel that they have the platform to reach the people, and they must have done their homework quite well and feel that, look, I have a good stake out there, because if I'm going to run for an election, I do not believe I can win. Why do I come out? Yes. So I believe they can win. And then through the social media, for example, we are on AIT right now. Someone can put a message through Twitter and reach 8 million or 20 million people. So they feel that they have the strategy to reach the people. Do you think those on the social media, they vote? Do you determine the number of votes by what you get on social media?
See, the scenario is changing in Nigeria because more and more people are getting aware that our country is getting backward on a daily basis, and those who used to stand and watch are now coming to get involved and to play a role. I used to be on the watcher side before, but here I am now actively involved, because I have only one country and I should play my role as well as I can to move the country forward.
Deacon Olale, it's like you have something to tell us, because I say that you are already...
Yes, I was just trying to say that the parties themselves and those candidates have a role to play, and that's the beauty of the largeness. You have come out, you have a message for the people, you have to find means. And like he has said, the scenario is daily changing. It's unlike before, where you have to go across the 36 states to go and campaign. You might not even go to all and then reach the people. So the scenario is changing every day.
But when you don't have, well, you know, the people, we have a culture.
Right.
Because of our culture, people, we as Nigerians and as Africans, we want to see you, we want to feel you before we can say we believe in you. And you're sitting right here in Abuja, you are saying you can just post something on the social media.
Definitely you have people on ground, all around too. It's not you in particular that will go around, all right? Because you have ambassadors. Call them any name. All right, you have ambassadors who will go out, preach your gospel to people. And then when they see you on the social media, like we are saying, they can easily relate you to what the ambassador has told them. So it makes it easier. That's what we are saying. All right, it makes it easier now, and things are improving on a daily basis.
And when Trump won the American election, he didn't go to all the 50 states of America.
He could.
But he had things like town hall meetings.
No, these guys are
strategic states.
These guys are for example, in my party, we are reaching the 36 states of Nigeria. In ANRP, we are reaching the 36 states of Nigeria. And as we speak, we have 4 soldiers in all the 36 states. You know, some of us are running in FCT and we're working for our presidential candidate. You know, so these guys believe that they could reach the people. No one we venture, although they say some do it to be popular. You know, some do it to be popular. They just want their face to be seen. But I do believe that 50% of these 79 people are reasonably, you know, determined to bring change to Nigeria.
All right, let me move it to the other side of the divide. Dr. Wembu, I know you are not a politician, but you have seen elections in Nigeria. Just in Osun here, about 40-something candidates contested the Osun governorship election, and what came out of that was an inconclusive election because of rejected votes. Are we not foreseeing another inconclusive election when you have voided votes, the number of votes that didn't count, higher than the margin? Is it not coming to that? Are we not getting to that point before 2019?
Well, pursuant to Section 31, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, INEC on Thursday released the provincial list of candidates for the presidential election and National Assembly. You see, what we saw in Osun State is a clear manifestation that a lot needs to be done, especially as it affects voter education, especially as it affects sensitization. But I must say it very clearly here that voter education should not be left for INEC alone. Definitely. It should also be done by political parties and by non-governmental organizations, you know, self-willed individuals who are determined to make a positive impact. In fact, in Osun State, it was up to about over 40,000 voided votes, and that was, for me, that is a very big. You can win an election with just one vote. And then when you have that large number of voided votes, you can imagine what will happen when we now have 79 candidates in a single ballot paper, where you have the level of illiteracy so high. You now imagine how these people will even be sure of the particular political party to vote for in that 79. So a lot of work has to be done if we do not expect to have, you know, as much or even 10 times voided vote that Nigeria has never ever had. So I'm making a suggestion now that more has to be done. In fact, all hands must be on deck to ensure that the populace and the electorate of Nigeria is well educated as it affects voting and voting rights.
Well, let me just take this paper as an example. If this is a ballot paper and INEC says they are going to be in columns, 10 on one line, another 10, and you have 7 lines on this paper like this, then 10. After voting, what do? You're supposed to fold your paper and put it in the ballot. Dr. Mbu, you know, Dr. Wembu, I'm always calling. So, and put it in the ballot box. In that scenario, the ink may just touch one or two boxes there, which INEC will say this is a voided vote. How do they expect the voters to hold their ballot papers for 71 on one sheet?
Yeah, actually, what the sensitization now is that you fold your ballot paper inside out. But for me, I know that is a gross violation of the provisions of the Electoral Act, because it's actually an offense for any other person to know or to see the particular political party you voted for. It's an offense and it's punishable by law. So what I think is that some other medium has to be employed to ensure that secret part of ensuring that no one else sees the particular party you voted for should also be maintained. And then we should also look for another medium to reduce the number of voided votes. Because when you thumbprint and fold the conventional way, there is a high tendency too of having a voided vote, because the ink might stain and touch any other political party, and of course that nullifies the entire effort and your mandate and your franchise of having the right to vote.
All right, Dickin,
yes.
Let me come to you. He has talked about going against the Electoral Act. What we practice in Nigeria during election is an open, secret balloting. Right. If your INEC is educating the political parties or the interest groups now to tell their followers how to fold the ballot like that, then where is the secrecy in that ballot?
Well, when you look at the previous elections we've had, you would know that why they call it secret open is that they move the pulling where you thumbprint, they move it away from the people who are on the queue, and then put the boxes
and the cubicle for voting.
The cubicle different. Then where you also drop your ballots with some little bit of distance from the people. You violate the law if you do the inside out voting and then you now do this like this, you show kind of. But you can really vote secretly and just move to the other side and done.
And people don't see you.
No, you don't have to see.
You think so?
Yeah. Yes, sure. The distance, so? Yes. Yeah. But the thing is that what we had before now is that because of this money for vote.
Yes.
So people will definitely vote inside out, and the man is watching somewhere to be sure. But then you would have gone outside your way to have raised.
You don't even need to raise it.
No, you don't.
What they do is that they position individual. If it is in terms of vote buying.
Let me do a position for you. So Ijoma, see, INEC is saying we should tell our candidates voters to do it this way.
Within the
cubicle. Now they have done this way within the cubicle. Assuming the party you thumbprinted is here, you could do it this way.
Yes.
And then you drop it.
So we must also.
That's alone. Let me also tell you that it may not be the way you think. That alone is also violating it, because the party that is here, somebody has a sample of the ballot paper. Yes. There may be party A, party B, party C, yes. Party E, D. Then when you turn it like this and they are saying this, it shows that you didn't vote for party E.
They will not know who you voted for.
You can easily predict, and somebody can easily say, for here, these are the parties.
When you look at the distance, why we are saying this really is to help the system and the INEC. We will not fault INEC completely, since we have not gone the next step of this electronic voting. We must do something. Nigerians too must also help the INEC to be discreet in what we do. Well, a situation where you deliberately want to let somebody see because you want to collect money or something, INEC should have some people monitoring. If you raise the thing, all right, raise it up and then point like they did in some places, definitely you have violated the rule. And if there's somebody there, they should definitely just there arrest you.
You have committed a crime.
Because you have committed a crime. Like we are talking about the voters' education. Most of the responsibility lies on the political parties to a very large extent. And we have failed. I will say that we have failed largely on that. It is a responsibility to educate your followers on how to go about this voting. What's your symbol and what are you expecting from them? But more political parties don't go that length, and that is not good enough. You are the ones seeking the vote of the people, not INEC. INEC has a role to play in letting us know what their rules are and all that. But political parties that is seeking the vote of the people, you must be able to educate the electorate. So we are not doing enough, I must say. Most of the parties are not. We have to do more to let our followers know what it takes for them to vote us into power.
And to reduce voided votes.
All right, let's take a look at what happened in the National Assembly this week. The Electoral Act Amendment Bill skipped through the first, second, and third reading, and it seems that both the Senate and House of Representatives, they are already on the same page in that bill. Yeah. And in that bill, some of these things will be corrected because it has given credit to electronic electronic voting system. If the president has sent to the bill before the election, doesn't it mean that could also be put into, they can use it during the 2019 election into practice?
Yeah, but in terms of complete and pure electronic voting, it will not be possible.
Why?
It's late already. It's late already
for
because it
election.
will take some time to customize and build systems that are purely computerized with a central server for an electronic voting. What we have now is the card reader. The card reader device is an Android device, and it is just used to authenticate your PVC, that the PVC is really from INEC and that is not a fake. And that again, that the owner of that PVC is the person that is standing before that presiding officer, ready to
verify
just to verify the authenticity. So it is not a complete, in fact it's not even electronic per se.
It's not.
It is just a medium to authenticate your PVC.
But when you have a law,
right,
a bill signed into law by the president that says you could do this or this. Look, maybe the February is too close. It's about 111 days to the election. But there are elections in March.
Right.
The governorship election.
Right. In March.
It will go into March.
Once the law is in place before such election, you know, it has a time frame. All right, for this election, it is definitely late. It's not the February and March elections.
And the budgetary allocation has been done with. So
without input for this electronic voting so far, what was approved. So, but once we are going to another budget year, 2019, provision must be made for the kind of election that will be coming subsequently. All right, and then those will serve as test case so that where we need improvement, we can continue to improve before the next general elections. Yes.
So we
for instance, now the bill, probably if the president signs it into law, we cannot go retrospectively and say, okay, those who have paid 40 million
to return their money,
somebody should return that money and all that. You know, that's why we know that this is something for the future.
Okay. Now, somebody is suggesting here, the person says, permit me, this is coming from Jacob Okundiri. Remember that you can drop a message on our Facebook page. You like our page, Democracy Today. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle at Democracy Today, or follow me on my Twitter handle at EJ Osamor. Just drop a comment with us there. I'll try, if I get the comment early enough, to take it. But let me just start with this. Jacob Okundiri is saying, EJ, permit me to say we always like complexity. INEC can provide a box where, in addition to your thumbprint, you also check the box by the party symbol. So even if there is stain, the checked box clears every doubt. Do we need legislation to do that? Do we need to take it to the National Assembly?
We do not need legislation to do that. And I wanted to say that earlier, that the coming on board of 79 political aspirants wanting to become president actually is a clarion call on INEC for heavy innovation.
Right.
INEC needs to heavily innovate if it really wants to be an independent body that runs free, fair, and credible election. There are so many. We have a lot of tech guys in Nigeria who INEC can put together and say, you know what, within the confines of the Electoral Act, how do we do this without running foul of the law? You know, to make sure that we reduce voided votes and you know, when you go to do your international passport, there's a device for signing.
For signing,
okay, so
yes.
this are innovation. INEC should just, you know, stop being analog and become digital.
Is it the INEC that up till now the election budget is still on the table of the National Assembly?
Oh, okay. So that's what. So
is it that INEC we're talking about?
This election is not an impromptu election. No. INEC, as we are aware, for the past 3 or 4 years that they will do an election, you know. So the level of proactiveness of INEC has to be stepped to the highest standard, and that's what we need to actually, you know, deepen democracy in this country and make a lot of people that have become disinterested to want to come back and be part of the process.
So you feel INEC is slow?
INEC is slow. What stops us from having we know there's an election in 2019. What stops us from making inputs in the budget, 2018 budget, for what we know we'll spend in 2018 from 2017 when we're preparing the budget? This is the kind of proactive actions and measures that INEC would have taken. For instance, election is just about 4 months. Then you are now telling us you need money for this election. It looks ridiculous and funny. Are we really prepared? And that's why we can fault the INEC people. You know you're going to have election. You have 4 years to prepare for this election. You don't have to buy everything in the year of the election or a year to the election. So if we've started 3 years before now, we know what will not be spoiled that we can store. We buy such and all that. So why not?
All right,
we should have waited until this last minute and then we start rushing.
Okay. We'll come back. Okay. We'll come back to you. You're still watching Democracy Today, and remember, like I said, you can drop a comment on our Facebook page, Democracy Today. Like our page, follow us on our Twitter handle at Democracy2 D-Day with a double Y, or you can also drop a message on my handle at EJ Osamor. Follow me on my Twitter handle. Let's discuss. Be part of this discussion. We'll take a break. We'll be back after the break.
This is Ikolo Community, and this is Otana Community. As election time nears, politicians arrive with money. Members of Ikolo Community sell their vote, but Otana Community refuses to be settled. They vote for the candidates of their choice.
I do solemnly swear that everything
after election, the Ikolo school needs repairs, but the politician has already settled them. Otana Hospital needs repairs too. Otana Community demands action and gets results. Your vote is powerful. It builds the future. Don't be settled. No sit down look. No sit down look.
No sit down look.
All right, we're still here. We're still looking at the possibility of having 79 political party symbol on the ballot paper. Let's take a look at the polling units now. Let's just leave that on the ballot paper. Right. You have election, INEC ad hoc staff and INEC staff in the polling units, security officials, not one, not two. Let me just say representative of the police, of the army may not be in the polling units, a bit away from the polling, and other security personnel. Then you have 79 party agents. That alone is a number of units. 79 party agents in a polling unit. Yeah. So how is that not cumbersome?
You see, the truth of the matter is that every election has its own peculiarities. Yes. Every election has its own dynamics. We have 79 political parties now feeding in candidates for presidential election. Now, what we are saying is that if you also have 79 party agents, that will help to checkmate foul play. That will further help to ensure that the system is not compromised. That will help to also ensure that the right thing is done. So for me, I feel that is part of the deepening democracy for which Nigeria has been yearning for, and we have it now. So I think it's a thumbs up for the country, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, really.
Dr. Wambu, you know, in a polling center, at times they have units up to 5. 79 times 5. That's what we are saying here. Maybe you're not seeing. I'm trying to just bring out a picture. 79 times 5 in one polling center.
There will be, you know, the polling unit will be. There's a measure of space between
100 meters.
Yes, okay.
100 meters.
But you need to know this. It is not every of the 79 presidential candidates that will be able to put, you know, monitors in all the units. But just as Doctor has said,
but sorry, I have to come in there.
Right.
It is part of election
that
you have to have party agents.
No, it's not compulsory. It's not really compulsory.
It's not really easy to put 190,000, you know, monitors in all.
That's what you're looking at.
But let's look at it in this way. I'm towing the line of Doctor. Even if it is only 7 or 8 or 10 agents of candidates that are at the polling unit, you would everybody will have ego high. You will not let them give votes that does not belong to Mr. A to Mr. A. You will not let them give vote that belongs to Mr. B to Mr. B, because doing that give them advantage over your candidate. So it helps us to monitor the process very well and gives measure of, you know, credibility.
Then that apart, you see, you will want to choose somebody as your agent at a point where he or she can also vote. So he is also a voter. So even if you don't have agents, all right, voters will be so many there. And then as much as possible, what you want to do is that who will be your agent must be able to vote at that polling unit. Otherwise, you're going to lose a vote. So if he's part of the general voter, so I don't think we are adding more people to the thing, because there's no candidate that will want to lose a vote. You pick somebody, say from Asokoro, you take him to Wuse or something to go and be your agent, you are losing his vote where he can vote. So usually what we do in politics is that look for people who will vote at that unit, they will be your agent. So you can't lose that one vote. It's very important. Like we said, you can win election with one vote. So if you lost that, that might even affect you. So given that, you discover that those people are also part of those voters.
But sorry, Dickin, I have to say this. There's a law in the voting process. When you vote, you do your accreditation and vote simultaneously. And when you are done with, you leave the polling units.
There's no law that says that.
No, the guideline, you move away from it.
You move away.
Is it that the agents will have to move away?
No, they will not. The agents will wait. But the voters are moving away. So you have already decongested the place when the voters are leaving.
That agent will still form crowd.
Yeah,
if they will form crowd, 79 of them will be crowd.
Like we have form a good crowd. I see this as good crowd. Good crowd that are defending the vote. The
good crowd
that are making sure the right things are done.
Checks and balances.
That are producing checks and balances. So yes, it looks unwieldy. We understand what you are saying, but it also has its advantages.
Dr. Wambu, Electoral Act amendment, I am so particular about that. Now that it has scaled through the National Assembly, we are waiting for the executive to sign it into law. Once it is signed into law, the another point there that I am happy with is the fact that you can use the card reader. That's the card reader. To transmit result straight from the polling unit, to the center server, which will stop any miscalculation of results. So whatever you have in a sheet from that your unit will also tally with what they have in their server. Is that not going to be a plus in the conduct of our election?
No, you see, unfortunately, there are individuals in Nigeria who do not want to see any good thing about INEC. The truth of the matter is that there are modern innovations that INEC has actually undertaken that is positive and that is also helping the democratic process of Nigeria. Now, if INEC has brought in this immediate transmission of results from the polling unit. We are talking about from the polling unit
straight to the server,
directly to the central server. So before the analog calculation of results from unit to ward, from ward to the local government, from local government to the state, and then to the federal, results are also supposed to have been already tabulated and arranged in the central. So when the manual comes, it is just to compare notes and be sure that they tally, and that is good. INEC has also introduced a system of monitoring the distribution of sensitive materials. That was demonstrated in Osun. INEC has also introduced a new system, a new device entirely, where blind people can vote via Braille. But these days, people are not also saying it because they don't want to hear any good thing about INEC. INEC is also trying because they are human and they are vulnerable to criticisms and all that. But I think they are not resting. They are still trying to ensure that we have a transparent, free, fair, and credible elections come 2019.
All right, we will still take a look at that. Now, it's still a matter of discourse for the political parties, because where we are waiting for the president to assent to the bill so that it becomes a law.
Yeah.
How can you, as a political party and interest group, push for this so that the president can assent to the bill? We need that bill to be passed into law.
Don't forget that APC ran on the platform of change. If they are really a credible party, and if the president meant what he said, leading a regime of change, we don't really need any push. The National Assembly had pushed the law to him before.
Three times. It's fourth time.
He made his comment and passed back. So they have not done what he wants to see. They have responded based on his comment. So do you need anybody to push him? If he's really a president that wants to do the best for the country, he just needs to sign it and pass it out. But in the court of public opinion, he's now in the court of public opinion. And it's not only political parties. People like, Doctor, and then all of us who are advocates for a better Nigeria. So we will talk about it in the media. The media raises it, the civil society, the religious bodies, and those who have the interest of Nigeria at heart. So it's not only for political parties alone, it's for all of us who believe in the Nigerian entity and wants to see it make progress.
So you still believe in that you want that bill to be passed urgently?
Oh, definitely. It will improve on the election in this country. If it is passed, definitely there are a lot of innovations in that electoral act that will definitely improve the performance of our election in Nigeria. So we, as political parties, are definitely looking forward to the passage of that thing. So many politicians are not too happy that the thing is not passed, especially with regards to so many people that were deprived of taking part in this election because of the cost. All right, if you have to pay 20 million to be a governor, to pick the ticket of a party to be governor, I mean, it means you are excluding chunk of Nigerians. But that's one of the things that this electoral act is addressing,
yes.
Making sure that average Nigerians can pick forms and then participate in the political process by putting themselves forward to be voted for. So that's one of the things we are looking forward to. It will be an improvement. The young not too young to run thing now, the effect is so little with this election. Because when they are not too young to run, the money has become a deprivation for them to run for elections.
Too poor to run.
Yeah, they become too poor and no bill that addresses that. So that's why this bill is something we're definitely looking forward to be for the president to assent to it and then make it a law so that we can start operating it.
All right, I'd like to take this from Ejike Ndubizu. He's telling me, I hope you are aware that the Osun 2018 election was declared inconclusive because of cancelled elections and not voided or invalid votes, as you stated. Let this order 77 political parties find something meaningful to do. I don't understand what you think is meaningful for them to do. Somebody is coming out to run as a presidential candidate. They believe that they can win. That's why they are doing that. So it's a very meaningful venture. 77 contestants. let's look at the 79. Sorry, let's look at pedigree, character, and personalities that are contesting this election. They cut across different political parties. Is it going to be a tough contest?
Well, generally, this 2019 general elections is going to be about the toughest elections ever experienced in Nigeria. And we are also looking out for the pedigree and capacity to also deliver. It's not just promises. Nigerians are tired of promises. It is about the competence and dedication of the individual to also be able to deliver. You know, so Nigeria is an evolving democratic nation, and I think all hands must be on deck to ensure that this democracy really survives.
Okay. Abga, I'm going to go into the summary now to tell you the number of candidates that you fielded in this last election.
Upcoming.
Abga had about 1 presidential candidate, 27 Senate, 68 House of Rep member, in total 97.
Yes.
How come your party didn't field? They have about 360 House of Rep, 109 Senate, and you decided to just cut down.
It does not make sense that you just field candidate for the sake of it. You look at your point of strength. All right, the Senate, the House of Rep, is a place where we're expecting that brains from all over the nation will come in there. So you will not come and say, okay, your party must field candidates
in all the constituency.
No, you don't. Otherwise, you just be. There are some who will do that, but again, you must look at your strength, and you must also believe, and then know that you don't have the exclusive right to just say you will be there alone. So in that case, you look at it. Where is my area of strength? All right, and then who is going to deliver what I want to deliver to the people, like in that area. For instance, when you talk of the gubernatorial, we know that we should be in the 36 states as much as possible. President, just one. Every other place. But with this one, you need all the eggheads who will not be in just one political party. And you will just be kind of... there are a lot of self-deceit in politics. There's no doubt about that. But why don't you be realistic
about it? But are you not depriving? Is it that people from that constituency didn't come out, your members didn't come out to show interest?
No, even if you come out to show interest and we know that you don't have the capacity, and that's one thing, that's an area Nigeria must get into at this stage. Capacity, not just in terms of
no,
not just in terms of fiscal money, capacity in terms of intellectual contribution. When you are going to the National Assembly, for instance, not somebody will go to the National Assembly and go and sleep. Probably somebody that will go and make meaningful contribution that can move this country forward. When you look at what we have in our National Assemblies today, so many people go there, you've never seen even supporting motions. All right, and if you know that somebody like that wants to come out in your party, it's better you educate him, let him go and improve on himself, then wait for the next time. So that's the truth about this thing. If every political party sees this that way, it's not just an outcomer thing.
So what happens to the state or to the constituency or senatorial districts where you don't have candidates? You talk to your people and pick another party candidate to support. Is that what you're planning to do?
Well, we're not planning to do that.
Or you tell your people don't vote?
No, they will vote. All right, they will also. That's why we have this kind of platform, and with time we'll have that for even the candidates. If your people see people who have the same thing, they have political thing that tends towards, and then it's your constituency. The majority wants this guy that he will deliver in that constituency. You will not twist your people, say don't vote because it's not our party person. It's about the people. And if you have a human-centered idea about moving this country forward, you don't stop. For instance, I've run for governorship in my state, for instance, sometimes, but I never won. That does not stop me from contributing what will develop my
your state.
You know, because I have no any other state. what I have that I want to implement, give it to that man and follow up. You know, and that's the way we can move Nigeria forward.
All right, ANRP, you have one presidential candidate, one vice presidential, 6 senates, which you are part one of them, and 9 House of Representatives candidates contesting. You're contesting for Senate in the FCT.
Yes.
So you feel this is the strength you can carry? Let me use this word.
It's not a matter. You know, this is not the work of a party actually. You know, the members. We just spoke of the amended Electoral Act. If it had taken effect before now, you will have seen more people coming out. You know, for example, our party was so magnanimous that because we are not a money party actually, we really want brilliant, intelligent people.
Anytime you say not a money party,
yes,
you can really win an election with that fund.
Okay, look at it for example now. So for some parties, for you to pick presidential ticket, you pay 40 million. In my party, you pay less than 2 million.
How much?
1.5 million.
For presidential tickets?
Yes, for my party.
So what the Nigerians that are watching you, and they see that you are paying 1.2 million, and what is written in the Electoral Act, not the bill now, is that as a presidential candidate, you have about 1 billion for your campaign fund. It's 1 billion. That's the limit. That's the maximum you can go. Not to 1.2.
Is it the money you pay for the ticket?
No. Okay, no. Let me tell you.
Your members contribute what they put together. That is the billion, not what you.
Okay, you feel that your members can come together because parties say they do not want to depend on any governor or any one man to finance their campaign. That's why they are collecting that fund.
We are a party of the people. And you see, one of the ways we can actually make democracy work in Nigeria is when every Nigerian contributes towards developing the process. And that's our model in NRP. We crowdfund. So we have crowdfunding, you know, our presidential candidate, campaign. We are crowdfunding for the Senate. We are crowdfunding for House of Rep. You know, and we can get this money through crowdfunding. But you know, it is not by making the ticket on higher than what people can afford that will actually make it to win. And mark you, because of the last 4 years, the economy has been so bad. Even if you make it, do you know some people even to join the party for 500 naira?
It's difficult.
They cannot afford it.
That is true.
So it's not, you know, so it's those who feel that number one, I can afford it financially. Number two, I have something to offer. I'm coming out because I have something to offer for FCT. I believe that
I will have to go to it, but before then,
let me just chip in some things. You see, the money you pay to the party, it's not the money you use to run your election, your campaign. For instance, we hold primaries, we hold meetings and all that. It is that kind of money that is pooled into the party that is used for that. When you're coming out for election, you are expected to do some fundraising. Right? Okay. You are expected
as the candidate.
As the candidate.
But I spoke to some politicians. What they tell me is, before the primaries, it is my duty to fund my campaign. After the primaries, it becomes the duty of the party.
The party has no source of income that would really take that on.
But
for instance, you are looking at.
But the mandate goes to the party.
Oh well, who runs the mandate?
The money.
Who runs the mandate? The point man runs the mandate. The mandate is for the party, no doubt. The platform belongs to the party. But what business does party do?
No business.
They might assist you in fundraising. Some men within the party who have fund, the party might talk to them to pool funds together.
All right,
for instance, we are not expecting the presidential candidate of ABGA to foot all his bill.
Okay.
Yeah, there are people within the party too who will help him to meet that limit of 1 billion or something.
Yes.
Like
before we close, I'll come back to both of you for just one question. But I like Dr. Wombu to tell us political party funding. That will be the next step of our discussion. But there's no time to talk about that here now. Most of the time, INEC has problem with controlling and monitoring political party when it comes to electioneering campaign funding.
Yeah, it is true that there is a limit placed as far as the amount you are expected to spend as a presidential candidate and the National Assembly, states and governorship. But for me, it is a quagmire. It is a very big task and very difficult. It's very difficult to actually monitor the amount of money that is spent during
Campaigns,
elections or during campaigns. Although if you say the maximum for presidential candidates is 1 billion.
1 billion.
If you look at the billboards across the country,
and you have
advertorials on televisions and all that, it's even more than 1 billion. So I think INEC has to brace up properly in terms of monitoring this, because I think so many political parties and candidates are falling short of this limit. They are not complying or conforming.
It's a big problem. And now they have 91 political parties.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we have just 1 minute to go. What do you think is so special about your presidential candidate that Nigerians must vote for?
Well, if you look at his pedigree.
And who is he? Who is he?
Well, he is a PhD holder, a doctor, also a retired Major General in the Nigerian Army. He retired as the commander of the Education Corps of the Nigerian Army. He didn't go into the army until after his first degree. All right, and in the military he was trained. He went to the USA, got his master's in anthropology, master's in
so you
education.
feel it's good enough for Nigeria?
No, he's good enough for Nigeria. This is somebody that has been tested, and we know he can deliver.
All right. I wouldn't just ask you of your presidential candidates, because you're also a candidate.
No, you should ask me about my presidential candidate. I'll speak about it.
What's the special thing about who is he?
Toko Fashua is one of the most passionate Nigerians that I've ever met.
Really?
Yes, he's a chartered accountant and economist, and he has put together this revolution of ideas that encapsulates all the problems of Nigeria and how to solve them. And you know, he is the first and to the best of my knowledge the only one thus far who has put his manifesto out there for all Nigerians to see.
Okay.
And it has been adjudged as the best so far.
No, others have not put their
manifesto.
That's like beating the gun. That's one thing Afghan does not do. To wait until INEC blows the whistle.
No, that's no whistle for putting your manifesto out.
It's like campaigning.
If you are winning Nigerians, you must tell them what you want to do.
Gentlemen, I'd like to say thank you for being a part of the program. Anyway, it's a lesson for you, and also I want to get something in the heart of Nigerians, especially the voters. Go and look out for who that candidate is. 79 of them. Try and investigate them and know who they are. Get to know their pedigree and what they are capable of becoming. Can they change the tides, or can they actually give you the desired change that you need as a Nigerian? That is what Nigerians should be doing at this moment, so we don't make a mistake come February 16, 2019. Yes, before we go, let me quickly see this tweet. It's a tweet from Shehu Sani. That tweet has made me laugh so much that I'm wondering. Shehu Sani to Ike Ekweremadu. It's just a moment for you to laugh it out. Let's see it. Let's see the tweet, and I'll just quickly take a look at that. What is he saying in that tweet? It's simple. Bro Ike, that he's saying, Bro Ike, stay where you are, Jeje. Adjust the komoto. If you know here, you go see. That tweet was posted on the 25th of this month. So it's an advice to those who are jumping from party to party. But Ike is Ike Ekweremadu. This is where we say thank you for being a part of the program. Join us tomorrow by 10 p.m. for another interesting episode of the program. I am Ijeoma Osamor. Good night.